We're playing Snake in RuneScape, moving around the map, one chunk at a time. We have an hour to complete as many things as possible before the snake is going to randomly move forward, left or right. If we can complete all the challenges in a chunk before the time is up, the snake grows, giving us more area to play with. Join me as we work towards the first goal of the account, unlocking the Champions Guild. This is SnakeScape. Welcome back. In the last episode, we managed to work on Hunter for the very first time, which is super cool. But we still have a lot more to do in this area, as we're currently in the Feldip Hills Hunter area, with the head of the snake in the East Feldip Hills, and it's kind of curving back on itself in a U. From here, there is a bunch of stuff we could go. We could go back up to Yanille, or we could spend a bunch more time in the Hunter area. I really don't mind spending time in the Hunter area, just because 45 is actually a chunk task, which will unlock a chunk. So let's jump in and work on that. Okay, well, let's start the timer and get back to doing the hunting of tropical wagtails. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's run over and get this done. I'm really hoping to hit maybe 35 hunter in the next hour. 45 is the long-term goal, but getting anywhere towards that would be great. Someone else is here. Let's hop. And there's 30 hunter, which is nice. We need 3 more levels before we can move on to a different type of hunting. I don't have a teasing stick, unfortunately. I forgot it, so we can't do the cat dudes, the spined Larupias when we hit 31, so I'm going to have to do this all the way to 33. And that is 33 hunter, so we can now do the spiked kebits, which I will do. I think I might try it out for a little bit and see if it can be supplemented with this. And here we go, we can actually go pick up a spiked kebit. This gives us access to a barbtail harpoon, which is a best in slot skilling. Let's keep going. I feel like this is really slow, so I'm going to keep going with the tropical wagtails. And with that, that is going to be the end of the hour. We are currently at 34 hunter. Oh, make that a little bit more. We're currently at 34 hunter. And hopefully we'll be able to get to maybe 40 by the end of when we have access to this area. There are a few more hunter creatures just over here, so we should be able to do this for at least 2 or 3 more hours. Let's jump in the chunk picker, because I have a little bit of a mess to sort out. And here we are. So I need to get my ukulele out, because I made a mistake. And I need to apologise. I completely forgot that Fight Arena only has the quest to do. There is a range in here which would normally come with a cooking requirement, but nothing inside this chunk drops anything that needs to be cooked. So this is a fully completed chunk with an achievement in it, which was the combat required to win the quest. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use it to replace one of these chunks up here. These 2 wilderness chunks were from the very start of the series, where I was a bit lax on what I'd consider a completed chunk for the snake. And I feel kind of crap about them being there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace one of these. So the snake is not going to grow in length. And we still have kind of a debt of 1 more chunk to be completed before the snake will be growing. Hope that makes sense. And I'm doing this just because it felt a bit naff to include the wilderness. So let's move on. The snake's currently facing north out of this East Feldip Hill chunk. We can either go east towards the chompy bird hunting start, or we can go north back onto the Gu'Tanoth Island and back towards Yanille. We haven't been able to tick anything off, we've just been working towards the hunter. But let's just roll, let's get on with it. And we go north into Gu'Tanoth Island. This chunk only had some ogres in it, so there's nothing really to do here. I am going to get back to doing a bunch more hunter. Let's jump in the game and get to it. Right, for this next hour, I'm going to try out some spiked kebit catching, as supposedly it is higher XP an hour than doing the tropical wagtails. So I'm going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then I'll just go back to the birds. But one thing I'm also considering, but maybe I'll do for the next hour, there are the crimson birds over here, which are a very low XP per hour, but could be really good for getting a bunch of feathers once we lose access to the tropical wagtails. Let's try it out and see how this goes. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's set up some deadfall traps. This is the 4th time in a row that it hasn't been caught. I'm loving this. And there's 35 hunter. This is actually quite good XP, much more than the tropical wagtails. Should have come over here earlier, but oh well, we'll keep working on it. It's currently showing 23k an hour, which is really, really good. With this, I'm really hoping to hit 41 hunter. And the main reason I want to do that is because it specifically unlocks this chunk here in Karamja, because of the horned garrix. And it means that one of the chunks inside this area starts becoming much more useful than it used to be. That, alongside getting Druidic Ritual, would make Karamja significantly better than last time when we were stuck in there. I'm still concerned that we're going to roll a charter ship location and we're going to get stuck there again. But, you know, it's good to just be prepared for the future. And there's 40 hunter. We've still got another 15 minutes left in this chunk. Well, at least I don't actually know where the chunk border is. I know it's somewhere around here, so I don't know whether these are included in this chunk or not. But if we get 41, that's going to be really good for the sake of Karamja. Let's see how much more we can do. It's really annoying. I didn't expect to get to 40 hunter, so I only brought 2 bird snares with me. Technically 3 bird snares, I believe, would be faster XP over there, but yep, that's just on me. I underestimated my hunting ability. Oh, come on, baguette. Ah, sandwich. And there's 41, which is the requirement for horned grax. And that is really good. So next time we're in Karamja, that will be a completed chunk, which will be really nice. Makes that chunk a lot better. We could even train there if we got stuck in Karamja again. Okay, sorry, I just double checked and we are in the new chunk. So we'll get another hour of doing this, which is really good. We'll probably be able to get to 45 hunter, which is a requirement for the butterflies here, which will be a chunk complete. And with this will be time up. We got halfway through level 41 in that hour. And with the chunks moving forward, we're going to be able to keep doing this for another hour. Both of the chunks that go up from here, we're not going to have too much use. I really want to try getting this chunk completed. Let's jump in the chunk picker and see where we're going next. So we can actually tick one thing off from that chunk, which is the Barbtail Harpoon, which is a best in slot skilling harpoon, as we can equip it, as opposed to the normal harpoon, which just sits in the inventory. Other than that, there is nothing else here which I think will be useful. So let's just roll. And we go back into East Yanille. That'd be really nice to utilise for some morph bletching in a bit. But first and foremost, let's jump back into Hunter. I really want to try and get this chunk complete. Let's jump back to it. 45 is the goal, and with the current XP rate here, about 21k, we are just about going to make it in this hour, I think. Well, let's try our hardest. 3, 2, 1, go. Back to setting up traps and cutting trees. And there's 33 prayer. We've only got 4 more levels until we unlock our very first overhead. I'm very much looking forward to it. Dripped out with the gold necklace. Look at this. Holy. And with this action, this should be 45 hunter, which means we can now catch black warlock butterflies, which is this chunk task complete. And this is the only highest level chunk task that this chunk has in it. We need to go find ourselves a butterfly. And that is a black warlock court. These are actually really good for strength. They give you plus 10 strength at my level. So I might try training a little bit of hunter, but with that we chunk task complete, so we'll be able to replace the other wilderness chunk in the snake, which I'm super happy about. Let's try find where these spawn, so then I can camp it. Okay, these keep running me out the chunk, so I think I will just go back to doing a bit more hunter training. Maybe we can get to 46 by the end of this hour. And with that is going to be time up. Let's jump into the chunk picker. This chunk is now complete, which is super, super cool. The snake won't grow because of the wilderness chunks, but it's super nice that now we know the next one we complete will actually make the snake grow. Let's go and check it out. So this chunk down here doesn't have anything in it other than the NPCs for hunter, and the highest one of those is a black warlock, which is a 45 hunting requirement, meaning we have now completed this chunk. As this is a chunk that had requirements in it, we now get to add one to the snake. But of course, we're still paying back the debt of the wilderness chunks, so that won't happen just yet. From here, we can go into West Yanille, the fight arena, which is a completed chunk, or into Hazelmere's Island. Let's see where we're going next. And it's back into the fight arena. This chunk doesn't add anything for us as we completed it in the last episode, but I would still like to utilise the hour that it gives us in Yanille. Let's get back to doing some fletching. As the fight arena chunk and this Yanille chunk don't really add too much, I'm going to work on fletching. I'm going to utilise the same strategy as last time, cutting a bunch of oak logs, putting them in the bank, and then when there's about 15 minutes left, fletching all of them into longbows. I'm going to sort my inventory out and then we'll get to it. Okay, so let's start the hour. I'm going to start off by turning all of these feathers into arrows, and then we'll move on to doing some wood cutting. Let's start the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's convert all these. This is going to be a bunch of good fletching experience. And there's 100,000 fletching experience, 1/9 of the way there to our final goal of 72. I mean, theoretically, the final goal is 92 with redwoods, but that's something which only comes into play if we go over to Zaya and to the woodcutting guild. So 72 is the goal for now. Let's run and chop a bunch of oak trees. And with this next log, we'll be 59 woodcutting. Matching our highest skill, we're catching back up on agility. We've got 26 minutes left, so I'm going to do 12 more minutes of woodcutting and then I'll fletch away all of these logs. We're coming up on 250,000 woodcutting experience. So a long, long way to go though. And there's 50 fletching. Oh, 22 levels to go. That is a long way away. And with basically the end of the hour, we're now at 1,362 oak longbows unstrung. We'll eventually be able to sell all of these, but that was some good progress. We do about 1% of the way per time we have a fletching chunk at the moment, so only 89 more hours to go. Woohoo! Let's jump in the chunk picker and see where it's going to take us next. I think you guys know the drill by now. The snake's currently facing north. Let's see where we're going. And it's left into Tree Gnome Village. Let's have a look at the chunk, because I think we can start a quest. This is the Tree Gnome Village chunk. In this chunk, we can actually start the Tree Gnome Village quest, which will be another quest which we can't finish at the moment. There's a lot to it which requires a bunch of the chunks up north, but by talking to the king we will be able to start it. Other than that, there's not that much in this chunk. There are some hill giants which would be really good for if we want to try and work towards the curved and long bone drops. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to the fletching which we're working on just outside Yanille. I really want to get that grind over and done with, so we need to put some more work into it. Right, so I'm going to start the quest in here and then I'm going to run back to Yanille to continue on some fletching. Getting through the maze took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, so I'm going to talk to the king, unlock the little dude who takes you to the other exit, and then run through it. Let's start the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go talk to the king. King Bulrun. I'm going to start pronouncing kings' names correctly. In episode what was it, 5? 4? I called King Roland, and I'd been calling him that for quite a while. I had never actually read it. So this is actually King Bolrin. Yada 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 yada. Yes, start the Tree Gnome Village quest. Cool. And without the battlefield to the north, we can't do anything more than that. And this is the wrong side of the maze, so I'm going to run through and get to the Yanille side. Hill Giants are now low enough level that I should just be able to face tank them, so these will be really good for training with the long and curved bone. With the rest of the hour being just chopping trees and fletching, this should jump past very quickly. 51 fletching. And with the end of that chunk, we're now at 1,794 oak longbows unstrung. Making very, very good progress. We're at 121,000 fletching experience, so we just need to do that for like another 70-ish hours. Well, let's jump in the chunk picker. I assume we're going to do this again for the next hour, as there's nothing too much till we unlock, but let's see where we're going. And here we are. So we can tick off the Tree Gnome Village Step 1 quest task, as we were able to start the quest. From here, we can either go into the battlefield to continue that quest, towards the observatory, or back into Yanille. Let's see where we're going. And it's south. I turned off the little spinny animation from the website. I didn't expect it to be super quick, but I think that is much better than having to wait every time. Let me know what you think, whether I should keep in the little animation or not. With West Yanille unlocked, there's not too much that we actually gain. There's no general store here, but there is a quest start. Let's see if we can start the Watchtower quest. West Yanille doesn't really have that much in it. It has the Watchtower over here, which lets us start the quest. But other than that, there's just some ogres and some soldiers. So let's just get to it. I'm going to start this quest and then I'll get back to the fletching grind. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go jump over the wall over here. Cool, let's climb up the outside of here and talk to the Watchtower Wizard. Okay, well, I won't be able to complete this quest, but I'll be able to start it nonetheless, as there isn't actually a requirement for starting it. It's just a requirement for finishing it. Once we're 14 Herbal and 14 Magic, we will be able to actually complete it if we go into the chunks. I may have some rope in the bank. I'll go double check. The chunk picker thinks I can only do the first 3 steps of this because it doesn't know that I might have rope with me. Let's just go and have a look. Okay, yeah, I don't have any rope, so we won't be able to continue this quest anymore. I deposited the key in the bank, so that means that next time when we have some rope, we'll be able to continue that quest. Let's go back to doing some wood cutting and some fletching. And there's 60 wood cutting. The first 60 on the account. Very, very cool. And that's 52 fletching. We're still getting about a level an hour, but that's going to end very soon. And with that, that is the end of the hour. 2,230 oak longbows unstrung. A really nice stack of cash. This should translate to about 45k, I think, maybe a bit more. But let's jump into the chunk picker. We have a 50-50 shot of 2 quite different paths. Just before we jump in the chunk picker, I'm going to get ready because there's a 50-50 shot that we do not have a bank for the next hour. So I'm going to put all my stuff on and let's actually now jump in the chunk picker. And here we are. So we were able to tick off the first 3 steps of the Watchtower quest in that chunk. So we can tick this off. We're not able to progress it at the moment as we don't have a rope. I don't actually know where the nearest place where we can get a rope is. Probably in Gu'Tanoth. I don't know whether we're able to get in here now. I know if we use a gold bar, we're able to get around here, but I don't know whether we can get to the general store. There are 2 kind of paths from here. If we go towards Castle War, we will continue on with our fletching grind. I really kind of want to get it over and done with, so as many hours of that I can put behind me, the better. If we go forwards, we're actually disconnected from a bank, which is quite funny. as we will be touching 3 chunks which have banks in them, but we won't be able to access any of them. And that'll take us back towards the hunter area. But, of course, I don't get to pick. Let's see where we're going. And it's into Castle Wars. This means that we have access to a bank still, so we can put all the stuff away, and we can do more fletching. There are loads of trees here. We lose access to Yanille, but let's jump in the game and have a look at it. With this bank chest here, we can put everything away again. Seems a little bit silly, but because we had a chance of not having a bank, we had to take this stuff with us. What I am going to do is I'm going to get prepped and save the rest of the fletching for the next episode. We've unlocked a good 4 more hours of it. That will take us over 170,000 fletching experience, and then we'll move on to whatever grinds come our way next episode. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a like would be greatly appreciated, and a subscription would be absolutely amazing. I've got a lot more fletching to do, so I'll see you next time. Bye!